also a psychologist, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, and you do CBT and EMDR and things like that. How have you found what just happened? Like, you've just looked at your own personal list. So we've worked on you personally. What did you discover through that exercise before?
Well, I feel like I everything is decreased immensely. I kind of want to put 0, but I don't think that's fair, so I want to give it time.
So your head's butting in and you're doing a head thing. How many things are on your list reduced, though, by just having Creatrix done on suppression and victim?
20.
So 20 issues.
Yeah.
Okay, so things like what? Does anyone want to share some of the things that you had? Who's willing to own some just typical female issues that women think that they're the only one on the planet that has, but that might be on some of your lists that actually just totally disappeared with Creatrix? But just because we did suppression and victim?
I'm not enough.
You're not enough as a person? Yeah, that's very, very common. We find that, not good enough or not smart enough or not pretty enough and all of these sorts of things, not enough. So is that what you meant? Yeah? So how many issues on your list did we just take in one fell swoop just by addressing suppression and victim? How many things reduced? 21. How many things are on your list overall as issues that we could recognise through the Creatrix screening process, where we identify blocks that people don't always know they had? About 30. How many did we reduce? 21 out of 30. Just like that. I mean, that would take a lifetime of therapy usually, and even then we might get rid of 1 or 2. So good. Okay, anyone else willing to admit that, just share that you are a professional in the industry? Yeah?
I'm Karen. I'm a kinesiologist. I use kinesiology and EFT. That's before I've learnt Creatrix, and I've been blown away. Yeah, quite a few on my list, and I would say majority of them have been definitely reduced. So valuing myself was one that's completely been eradicated from releasing suppression, and it feels good.
There's a lot of good tools out there, but how does Creatrix compare to, kinesiology, EFT, in outcomes? Because we offer a money back guarantee. We want to know, how does it kind of compare in getting outcomes like you've seen us do here?
There's no comparison. I've loved kinesiology, but people come to me for their physical issues, but their physical issues always relates to a belief or mindset, and that was my hardest thing, is to get them to understand that shift needed to happen. Creatrix does it like that. So for me, it's just, mind-blowing that we can do that and get those shifts in people. So I'm super excited to be able to bring this back into practice and try and educate my clients that they don't always have to get stuck in that mindset. They can actually do something about it.
How fast was it? How fast did you get rid of suppression and that victim, to feel that it's affected you so dramatically and changed you? How do you feel different?
I think it was 45 minutes.
So how different do you feel? What's the feeling like to not have suppression and victim in your body anymore? What's it feel like?
It just feels light and empowered, feeling like there's passion back, feeling like you just want to get up and go, and it's just an amazing feeling. I'm not quite sure how to explain.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, isn't it? Especially because, there's nothing like this out there for women. So who else was?
We own a allied health therapy clinic, and I manage the clinic. So over the last 10 years, I have managed dozens of different practitioners and modalities, including chiropractic, physio, osteo, Bowen therapy, naturopathy, psychology, clinical Pilates, and the list goes on. Over the years, I've been able to have the pleasure of being treated by many of those therapies, including who is a chiro, also trained in NLP, NOT, NIS, NOT.
Everything with a T in it by the sounds. There's a T in a lot of these things, isn't there, actually? The therapy word at the end,
Yeah, so I've been very fortunate that I've been a client of various therapies and benefited from them. But I've had what doctors would call an autoimmune issue for the last 10 years, and part of that issue, they would perhaps call it rheumatoid arthritis. I've managed that with naturopathy and chiro and NIS, but I've had locked elbows now pretty much for 10 years. Today I did Creatrix with one of the lovely ladies at the course, and for the first time in 10 years my elbows have completely unlocked.
I didn't even know that. I did not know that. I did not know that yet. I did not know that. That effing excites me. Woo!
What I love about Creatrix so far is it's just so incredibly gentle, and yes, it's getting to the root, the cause of the matter. But what blew me away was I would never in a million years, as somebody who is a leader, as a manager, someone who's a high school teacher and taught students in management positions for over 25 years, could find something in myself, as I hesitate to say simple as suppression. I have amazing leadership background and I consider myself very confident, but yeah, to just be treated today for suppression and to have elbows that are now unlocked for the first time in 10 years.
It's so exciting. Oh my God. And I went live. I'm so glad I went live, because you wouldn't have bloody believed me, would you? I would have tried to tell you and you'd be like, oh yeah, she's just making another wild claim. I'm so glad. Thanks for sharing that. Sure. Don't you love it when someone puts a camera in your face?
I can talk as well as these.
No, just talk from the heart. That's all people want to know. It's like, can I ask you, so suppression and victim, like most people don't know that is a part of what they've got as women, and some of the things that come under that banner. Does anyone want to say what some of those things are, just so that we give this interview some basis? Guilt, control, frightened about being all of yourself. Intuition.
Helplessness.
Fear, helplessness. Speaking up, having a voice, not good enough, not deserving, not worthy, being invisible, powerless, bullied, unrecognised. Girls, if any of you watching this have that, you're suppressed. And you just don't know it, because it's a word that no one talks about, and it's suppressed by yourself as well, but it's also conditioned into us. You know, don't blame yourself. It's just that it is something that we've inherited. Yeah, how many things reduced on your list because we did them?
I've got well over 40.
Wow.
And I would have to say absolute majority have been reduced down to 0 or very low numbers.
Oh my God, that's big. This is even big for me. And I created the process. Like to actually come in with a new hypothesis and go, you know what if everything is from this suppression and victim, from how we've been treated throughout history. But Alison, where do you come from? Like, what's your story?
So I have a counselling background.
Yeah.
So I've done a degree in counselling, and I have studied NLP. I've done masters in NLP, and nothing compares to this technique and what we do here. It's just been mind-blowing to think that something so simple can be so effective.
It is simple, isn't it? It's designed to be simple for the end user. Yeah. What have you discovered I think we haven't shared fully. What do you think of like what it is?
It's just, anyone can do it. It's just easy. It's not complicated. You don't need a degree. You don't need to spend thousands on what we spend normally when we do go and get a formal education and formal sort of degree. There's a lot more time spent in dealing with those therapies that really don't even touch the surface compared to what this does.
Thank you for sharing that. I can say it, but who am I? In summary, how did we go with suppression? How many people in the room discovered through the educational process that you actually had suppression? Yeah. So do you realise this is 100%? And that's basically what I'm, the message to bring to the world. So there it is, live, coming to you live from Creatrix Transformologist course. So thank you again. One more question I'm going to ask them. because I've had to deal with this on Facebook, a few people carrying on about the money I charge for the course. Is it worth the money you paid? Yes. Are you sure? Don't bullshit.
Yes. I'll give you some more.
What's it worth? What do you think this course is worth?
Priceless. Freedom.
You can't put a price on freedom. That's exactly right. And if you're serious about getting out there and changing lives, this is an investment. It's not an expense. You make money from doing this, even just removing your suppression and your money blocks about being deserving enough to even charge money. You can have a thriving business doing what you love most, which is helping other women. And there's nothing wrong with that. If anyone tries to guilt trip you that there's something wrong with that, how come we can have a business that sells shoes and we're allowed to get filthy rich from that? But there's something wrong with making money because we help people very deeply, emotionally and mentally. So, there you go. It's worth it, isn't it, girls? Yes, exactly.